close to Memphis and then ended up there in the minor leagues. What was that experience like for you? Was it surreal to kind of go back home?
Yeah, it was a special moment. Once they told me I was traded, they told me I was coming to the St. Louis, and obviously in my mind, I probably knew I was going to be going to Memphis. So I was super excited to call my family and tell them. And that first game was pretty special, having all my buddies in there and everything. So it was pretty cool.
When you were drafted in 2020, how much did you interact with Heim at all? Like, is that a number you had in your phone when you already got traded? And what was that like, kind of reconnecting with him?
Yeah, it was super cool. He was one of my first phone calls after he drafted me. And he was always around the complex and stuff. And after they traded, he was one of my first phone calls also. So it was pretty special, and just excited to get to work for him. So.
Is there something to a guy who picks you twice like that, right? Like a guy who not only takes you in the draft but also is looking for a trade, obviously, and that's a guy that you go to. Does that say something about confidence in you, your skill set, any of that?
Yeah, I think it almost makes you feel like you were wanted, and it's pretty special. I'm just excited to get going, and hopefully they continue to just work hard and be a better player than I was in Boston. So.
Did you find it more relaxing or maybe a little more pressure playing at home and knowing that everybody's watching you as a new guy, having just joined the organization and reputation of the power hitter? Did you run hard in the game?
Yeah, it was definitely, I felt like a lot more pressure. I wasn't used to having like that many family members and my buddies come to the games, and I was always just so far away from home, so it was like it was definitely, I felt a little bit of pressure coming home, but I was able, just for a couple weeks though, so it wasn't too bad after that. But but it was also really special to me, and I think that's why I put so much pressure on myself, because it was such like a special moment, having everybody there for me and everything. So it was always pretty cool, because all the people that were there, they're not used to being able to come watch me play, so it was pretty cool.
Take us through what it's kind of been like the last few months, like learning about the trade and then kind of settling into a new organization.
Yeah, so when I learned about the trade, obviously I was pretty excited for the opportunity, and I growing up, my favorite player was one of my favorite players, Albert Pujols. So obviously being able to watch him through this organization. And fun fact, one of my first major league games I went to was the World Series games that he hit 3 home runs. So it was pretty cool. So just when I found out I was traded to the St. Louis, a lot of my buddies and family members are Cardinals fans, so kind of being close to here from Mississippi and everything, so it was pretty special.
That 3-homer game, what do you remember from that World Series game and seeing Albert and the Cardinals?
Yeah, what I remember is we were before that we were choosing which game we wanted to go to, if we wanted to come here to St. Louis or go to Texas, and for some reason we chose to go to Texas to watch the game, and I was happy we chose that game, because obviously that was a special moment. And then a couple years after that I got to meet Albert, so it was pretty cool. So.
Well, as you've been working, it seems like on bat speed, exit velocity, stuff like that this all season. Can you just talk about those workouts and what are you seeing from it?
Yeah, and that was one of the things I was talking to them at the end of the season, what I need to work on, and one of my thing was, obviously get my power numbers up. My bat the ball has been one of my strengths these past couple of seasons, but obviously I didn't get my power numbers up being the corner guy that I am. And so I've just been working hard in the gym, just getting as strong as I can, being a better athlete. And, so along with that, working on, hitting the ball in the air more, and working on my bat speed and stuff too. And it's been really paying off so far, and I'm excited to get going to spring training. So.
You see that the big league club is young and kind of going through this transition. Does it spark you as a guy in AAA that the opportunity could be there to get to the big leagues?
Yeah, I'm super excited, but at the end of the day, I just try to control what I can control, because if I don't do my part, I'm not going to be able to get here anyways if I don't do what I need to do. So, my job is to just continue to work hard and do the things I need to do to hopefully come up here sooner than later to help the team win. And, I'm excited about this ball club. We got a lot of young guys, a lot of talented guys, really eager to get after it, and just excited to get going. So.
Do they talk to you much at all about what like positional stuff looks like for you? Obviously, both corners are places that you've been familiar. Is there an outfield glove in your future? Like, are these things that are kind of around the corner for you?
They've only mentioned, the 2 corner spots for me, but I'm willing to do whatever they need me to do, and my goal is to get up here and help the team win, and and that's my ultimate goal, and I'm willing to do and work hard at whatever position they need me to get better at, and but right now I'm working really hard at first and third base, just trying to become a better defender than I have been in the past couple of years, and I've made strides over these past couple of years, like a lot better defender than I was when I came into pro ball, but still far away from where I want to be and need to be, and just continue. And I'm just trying to continue to make those strides, and hopefully be able to be a really good major leaguer at first and third base. So
When you came over and they started talking to you about coaching stuff and sort of what they wanted to see out of you, were you surprised by anything that they thought about you? Like, were they things that the Cardinals saw about you that maybe you didn't see about yourself?
I wouldn't say I was surprised by anything. I feel like they were pretty honest with me, but it was kind of like things that I kind of already knew. But one of the things I really enjoyed, they kind of let me be myself. And coming over, they made me feel super comfortable. And they welcomed me in with open arms. And and the team that we had in Memphis, was great, especially being with JJ and all them. And it was just great being around those guys and learning from them and just seeing how this organization is. And it's been pretty special. So.
What is that introductory process like when you go to a new team? Do they greet you with some kind of thoughts on scouting? Do they greet you with the stats that they have? What's that process like over the first few days when you're in a new organization?
Yeah. So the first few days, it was basically go be yourself. Just continue to do what you were doing before you came over, and like what the expectations were, which just be the good teammate, obviously, and just show up on time and stuff like that. But playing-wise, it was just kind of be yourself and just go out there and just do what you can do. And, and I really enjoyed that part of it. And I really enjoyed it. So.
Was there a point in time where they go to you with a kind of an individual plan? Maybe that's comes in the off season, I guess, a little bit. Like, here's where areas that we want you to improve, whatever those areas are.
Yeah, that came like right after the season, I would say. We had a couple of days up here after the season where we came and did like a couple of training days, and we had like meetings and stuff. And they kind of told me like what they would like to see from me in the off season and all that. So it was kind of like an evaluation of me, and and I agreed with what all they were saying, and it kind of opened my eyes to what I needed to do to become a long-time major league player. And obviously that's my goal, to get up here and help the team win. So.
On the flip side of that, given that time is now acquired twice, have you become fast friends with folks in the organization who are curious about what you know about kind of his approach and what happened in the Boston organization?
I've had some people ask some questions, but I just like to say, he was always around us in Boston. He was just a great guy to be around, and and obviously I feel like he was really wanting to win, and obviously that's the whole feel that we have around this whole organization as a young group that we have, and we're excited to get after it and go out there and just try to help the team up here win. So.
You got to be a teammate with JJ Weatherholt for 30, 40 games, got to know him. What do you admire about him? What did you learn about him?
Yeah, he's a special player, and and being around him, being able to learn, how he approaches the game and how he goes in day in and day out, how he works, and playing alongside him when I'll be playing third base and stuff, and just he's a special talent for sure, and he's a great guy, overall, and I just love being around him, and he's going to be a special player, and and I really just loved being around him and just watching him work. So.
Did you take him fishing with him?
Not yet. No, he kind of got upset with me when I told him I had a pond. When I had a pond at my home, he was like, "You didn't tell me that," because obviously, I live about 30 minutes from Memphis, so so maybe. Hopefully he'll be up here, but I told him we kind of missed out on the opportunity. So.
Coming from the 2020 draft, did you have a relationship with Mason Wynn or Jordan Walker? Did you have any relationship with them beforehand?
I had a little bit of a relationship with them. I saw them in the summer circuits and stuff, obviously, just playing and everything. But, I'm excited to get to work with them when I come here because I haven't seen them in a very long time. So I see them here and there, like when they would come over to our place and play spring training games or something. But, I haven't seen them in a very long time. So I'm excited to see them and get going and continue to get to work with them. So.
said that getting some more athleticism was kind of an emphasis this offseason. What have you been doing in regards to get to more athleticism? Has it paid off, do you think?
Yeah, I think, I just been working on my quickness and my mobility, and one fun fact, I've actually started doing like some hot yoga, and, just trying to, obviously being a first baseman, you got to be limber and stuff, and just trying to, prevent injuries and just become better overall athlete, and just trying to work on my quickness and get stronger because obviously as a corner guy, you see the guys that are up there now, they're really strong and they have a ton of power. So, that's where I'm trying to get one to be. And I feel like I've done a good job so far this off season. I'm excited for spring training. So,
Blaze, you post a lot about like collectibles and memorabilia and stuff that you're really into. What's the coolest thing you've ever come across or opened or held or whatever?
That's a tough question because I got quite a few, but I would say there's a couple of things, but I would say I just got this Mickey Mantle card, so that was pretty special for me. So that was one of the ones I wanted for quite a while, and yeah, I was excited to get it. So. Not that I want to keep quiet, but I probably do have too much of myself. That probably is. I probably have too much money in myself, so that's probably one of the things. So, but no, I enjoy it. So hopefully I can maybe pass it down to my kids or something one day. So it's pretty cool to like when my cousins and stuff will come over, I'll show them like the stuff of me and stuff. So it's pretty cool. So.
What's the name?
I think it's a 1958. Like it's the one with the orange back. So. Yeah, it's like not the super expensive one. I didn't do all that, so yeah.
You have all of your one-on-ones?
Not all of them, no. And it was one of those things. I want like a lot of my one-on-ones to stay out in the hobby, so that was kind of one of the things for me. I have a couple of them, but most of them I want to stay out in the hobby. So.
Blaze, if I remember correctly, in 2019, the high school home run derby, you ended up winning that. What was that experience like for you, and how did that kind of give you confidence to pursue what you've been in professional baseball?
Yeah, it was a special moment. That was like kind of my first time I was around like a lot of major leaguers. So, it was being a 16-year-old kid. Actually, they let us in the locker room and everything, so it was pretty cool just to be around those guys and all that. And yeah, I would say it was kind of like a surreal moment. Like I went there and, obviously you had to win like the preliminary rounds to be able to hit in the actual home run derby the next day, in front of all the fans. So when I was able to do that, I was super excited. And obviously I wanted to go out there and win, and look, I was able to. So my family and everything was there and all that. So, and the funny thing was I had to get on a flight like that next morning at like 5 a.m. and I played a game at like 12 o'clock in Atlanta the next day. So I was it was pretty tiring, but it was definitely a cool experience. But I didn't want to miss out on the opportunity playing for my travel ball team either. So I was kind of traveling all over the place, but it was a special moment. So.